So I was sitting on the couch, and we laughed over this afterwards. 20 minutes before I had just walked up, because we've sold the house. The house is sold, or was sold. We were supposed to close on Friday. And the new buyers, the new pediatrician here at the hospital, obviously doesn't have anything to buy anymore, so that's gone. And we bought a house in Puerto Rico, and we were moving stuff around and packing it up. And I was just finished packing because they were supposed to come Monday to collect all the boxes for the container. And I was walking upstairs, and I told Bill, I said, you know what? I'm going to miss this house. I really love it. And 20 minutes later, it was gone. It was, yeah. So I was sitting on the couch, and I heard the rumbling. I heard him scream. I didn't hear what he said. And I thought it sounded like, I said, is that a hurricane? Because it sounds exactly like what hurricanes sound like, or we've been through tornado.
I think is what you meant.
And so I turned to look at him, and as soon as I did, it hit us and threw me out of the couch, because the house actually collapsed in onto itself sideways. So it threw me into the ceiling, where I dislocated my shoulder, and then back down on the floor. And luckily, the couch had flipped over like this, so when the floor up above dropped on it, it dropped like this, and I had a space right here of about 18 inches, that clearance. So that sofa saved me, is all I can say. And then I guess I had about 8 seconds of panic, because I knew he wasn't there. So I started screaming for him, trying to find him. And it took me about 20-25 minutes to extricate myself out, because of my shoulder. I couldn't function with my right arm. About halfway through, I heard him.
Well, I wanted to go back. I heard him the entire time, screaming, crying, Bill, where are you? I yelled back, but he couldn't hear me. So
until I got about halfway out, then I heard him. I verified that he was all still in one piece, and tried to verify where he was. By the time I got out, completely out, the pastor from one of the local churches was standing out there offering assistance to me. He handed me off to somebody else, and I told him where Bill was, and he said he would stay there until the first responders got there. And I was able to walk out and around, met with the first responders, told them where they were, and they went and chainsaws to cut him out.
And that was Alan McElroy. He is we had never met him before, but apparently his family was also evacuated after the fact, and he came down to help, even though he had left his family behind.
Just a great guy.
So you described it pretty well. What was that like when you realized that you were pinned, and did you know what had happened, or
well, I still thought it was a hurricane tornado. I still thought it was, because the way the house collapsed and shook and fell, it just like, you know, you see on television. It felt like it had been picked up and dropped somewhere. I had no idea about the mudslide. I didn't even know it until I was at the emergency room, because where I came out and around behind the house that was below us, you couldn't see up the hill. And then I got to the first responders out there, and they had just turned off the power. Thank goodness, because I was in about 2 feet of water, but walking out to the road. But the power was off, and so they came and got me and took me out, waited for the ambulance. And I never turned to look back at the house. I just, once the guys knew that there was somebody where to go, I told them, please get the pets. We have 2 miniature dogs, and Bill's in the kitchen somewhere. So when I left it all in their hands, because I knew I couldn't do anything at that point.
What were you doing? You were on the couch?
Just watching television.
hanging out?
Yeah.
Would that have been on the first floor or the second floor?
Technically the first floor, so we have a basement, first floor, second floor. And it's a walkout basement, so it's 3 full stories.
Got it. So, if I heard you right, you said that it threw you up into the ceiling
Yep.
and then back down.
Yeah.
When it threw you up into the ceiling, were you like on the ceiling looking down?
No, it was bumped, just like that, because it was caving in, so it wasn't like 8 feet, it was probably at that point 4 feet, and then when I fell, it was 18 inches.
So when everything kind of settled and you were kind of pinned by the couch with your arm dislocated, did you get this feeling like, I'm alive?
No, actually, all I could think about was him. So I didn't think about me at all. I didn't even take the time to be cognizant of my whereabouts. I think if I'd had the fortitude to be able to say, okay, you're okay, where's your phone, where are your glasses, where are the dogs, but it was all about where was he.
How long were you stuck?
Only a minute or two, because where the sofa had, the sofa was here and the ceiling was like this, and I was laying here, so I wasn't pinned. I was able to shimmy out, and as I got out to where the dining room area was, the dining room area was about 3 feet to the ceiling, and then the French doors on the downside of our house was all glass. The glass had all shattered and that had all collapsed. So that's why it came down that way. It looks kind of like an accordion now if you look at it from the backside. I was able, the header over the French doors, we actually remodeled this house. It's a 100-year-old house, and we completely remodeled it. And when I did the headers above the French doors, I was using Anchorage snow load coats, so it was slightly over-engineered, but that's what held the opening. So the opening was there, and I was able to get out that way, and that got me to the edge of the dining room, and I could see part of the countertop from the island, and some of the cabinets was there, and I could hear Bill very clearly at that point, so that's where my focus was.